Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
That was President Trump asking if we could possibly inject people with disinfectants. Hey, look, I know the defense is, and I'll get more on that later on, but he's just asking questions. He's just asking if we can inject people with a disinfectant. I can't. I can't. We get the disinfectant. We got the Lysol, and why can't we think about disinfecting it? Because, you moron, that's deadlier than the virus. Seriously. No, who's stupid enough to think, no, well, bleach kills this thing, obviously, or isopropyl alcohol, that's rubbing alcohol. Why don't we just inject those? See what happens. Clean out the lungs. I mean, come on. All right. So now, of course, as soon as he had the chance, ABC News' Jonathan Karl was like, hey, wait a minute. You're not actually going to do this on people, right? So here's his question, and here's Trump's answer.
The president mentioned the idea of cleaners, the bleach and isopropyl alcohol you mentioned. There's no scenario that could be injected into a person, is there?
No, I'm here to talk about the findings that we had in the study. We don't do that within that lab, at our lab. So
Are we simplifying through injection? We're talking about almost a cleaning and sterilization of an area.
Right.
Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, but it certainly has a big effect if it's on a stationary object.
All right, so then you see, once he was asked, he's like, well, I didn't mean injection. I mean this sterilization of the area. Then why did you say we're looking at, or we want, to look at maybe you could inject disinfectants? Why would you say that he has no idea what he's talking about? And look, hey, you want to talk about sterilizing surfaces? Okay, well, yeah, we're already doing that. But again, he's saying, is there a way to do something like that by injecting inside or almost a cleaning? Doesn't make sense. Inside what? The body? I mean, again, I'm being very clear about this because you've got Trump people out there saying, well, he didn't say anything about injections. What are you talking about? Fake news. In fact, here you have Breitbart doing a quote unquote fact check. You'll love this, right? Here's what they said. Trump used the word inject, but what he meant was using a process, which he left medical doctors to define, in which patients' lungs might be cleared of the virus, given new knowledge about its response to light and other factors. So, look, yes, there is evidence that light, strong UV light has an effect on coronavirus, sunlight as well, right? But he also said in that very same press conference, oh, by the way, we're going to find a way to, is there a way to put the light in the body through the skin? What, you're going to shove a light bulb in somebody's mouth? Is that what we're doing? Come on, it's ridiculous. He's a lunatic. And you saw what he said in front of your eyes. What are you going to do? Will you not believe your lying eyes? Literally said that. And then, of course, said the complete opposite. But let me just be clear. For the love of God, don't start injecting bleach or any disinfectant because you will die. And not only will you die, but it will be painful. It's going to hurt. Now, again, the other idea about sunlight is, something else. But his question was, is there a way we can put it inside the body? And no, I don't think we can actually freaking do that. So this is nonsense. And yet, here's the New York Times earlier, right? The New York Times frustrates me in a lot of different ways, especially when, the biggest way is when they do stuff like this. Earlier, they had this tweet. It's deleted now, right? And they came up and said, well, we deleted that tweet, right? But this was the original. At a White House briefing, President Trump theorized dangerously, in the view of some experts, about the powers of sunlight, ultraviolet light, and household disinfectants to kill the coronavirus. Notice in there, well, some experts say it's dangerous. No. All the experts say it's dangerous. Don't inject household cleaners. Don't start shooting up Lysol. Bad idea. Terrible idea. Because it will kill you. And yet, here was the New York Times, left that tweet up for 12 hours, saying, both sides. Here's what Democrats say this. Insane people say that. Who knows? Experts. Some experts. No, pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Now, one more thing, because there's always got to be one more thing, right? Now, apparently the White House transcript had shown that Dr. Birx had agreed with Donald Trump about ultraviolet light. The thing is that in reality, she actually didn't agree with that. Now, NBC News reporter Shannon Pettypiece, which, by the way, I love the name, especially being a reporter. Did Pettypiece put out another petty piece? I kid. I'm sure she does a great job. In fact, she did so right here in finding that the White House transcript had officially been changed. And most of us wouldn't have noticed had she not looked into it. So what did it say? Well, she flagged the change in the official transcript that corrected an earlier, and she calls it an error. I don't think it's an error. But it regards Birx's reaction to Trump's suggestion. So here's the quote that was quoted in the transcript. Deborah, have you heard of that? That the heat and the light, relative to certain viruses, yes, but relative to this virus. She said, according to the transcript, that is a treatment. In reality, Birx said, quote, not a treatment, not as a treatment. Okay, so that's fairly clear. It's not a treatment for coronavirus. So it's a little bit of a strange error because it's completely the opposite of what she actually said. And so if you're reading that official transcript before it was changed, you think, well, obviously heat and light, ultraviolet rate, that's a treatment for coronavirus, according to Dr. Birx. When in reality, not a treatment at all. So I just thought I'd point that out because, I don't know if that's actually an error or something that maybe would help right-wing conservatives defend Donald Trump. I mean, this shouldn't be out of the question anymore, right? I know, conspiratorial, right? No, it's not out of the question. I mean, Donald Trump has, basically told people to change transcripts. The Trump, people that work in the White House have changed transcripts. They lie on behalf of the president all the time. And so they put out the original false version and then issue a correction later. They'll come out and say, oh, we didn't actually say that. That's not what it means. But message received. It's already out there in a MAGA crowd. And so they'll first believe what came out first and they'll defend it. And then later on they say, well, we knew that was the case in the first part. So, we didn't change our position. No, we didn't do any of that. That's fake news. But again, they're already saying that, oh, you took Trump out of context. He didn't actually say inject, as I told you with that Breitbart article. But you all saw the video. You know what he said. First, he said, can we inject disinfectants? And then later on says, I didn't actually say that. Well, he did. He said both things. And he does that because that's what he always does. He says one thing and then the opposite thing a little bit later on. And he does that so he can deny saying the one thing that he literally just said. It is somehow both stupid and effective at the same time. But that's what Trump does. And I guess that's how he is so effective at being able to lie to his base and say the most insane things and yet keep the loyalty of that base. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.